Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Tuesday, the 31st of March. All right, now let's just have a quick look at the major currency pairs. No real change, and this is starting to look really good. We've got technical levels both sides of the market, although some of these pairs have a bit of a way to go to hit the top side. But we've got a bit of direction, and as I said, especially with the, if I just highlight, say, the Aussie, Kiwi, Euro and Sterling, right? As I said last week, we've had the weak US numbers, employment numbers. We've got the non-farm payrolls this Friday. We get those out of the way and get those bad numbers out, then it throws it back to the rest of those other countries to see what their data is, right? So I think this is playing out quite nicely. So what I'm basically saying is the data from all these other countries is going to be a lot worse than the US, and we're going to see some good moves to the downside. That's what I'm expecting at this stage. Now, before I run in and do that, I'll be assessing the markets as we get to those levels. All right, now just, well, let me just sort of sling you over to the news. I mean, just have a look and see what's going around the news-wise. Well, okay, it's all about a bit of euphoria. Trump's talking about opening up businesses in April, despite coronavirus stories. There's a big military medical boat that's pulled into New York. Everyone's cheering like it's, 1st of July. So then, there's basically measures being put in place. Now, there's a whole heap of stimulus which is being rolled out. I think the Australian government's just rolled out another couple of billion of money that they don't have. But what we're starting to see is, if you have a look here on the major currency pairs, there's a few things on your templates you should have to pick this up. Now, just look at the major pairs here. Dollar pairs, okay, rallying, other pairs falling. This is good uniform markets. This is good trading conditions because the dollar is doing the same thing against everything, and that's really positive for us. Now, equity markets, a little bit of a reprieve, a bit of a bounce, up 3%. You'd expect that to flow on through the Asian and European equities as well, barring any sort of new crazy coronavirus stories. Now, just coming over to the daily trade routine, looking at the trading conditions. Well, I've still got them as okay. If anything, they're coming back towards good, right? They're getting back to good market conditions. There's a few fundamentals impacting, especially the employment numbers. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, the main market driver has not changed. Now, just coming down here. Now, active pairs, I should have had this on some time ago. Crude clearly heading to the downside. This is like I think it's 18-year lows for crude, around $20. Resistance isn't back till 27, but until this whole thing works itself out, this is going to continue to chew to the downside. Dollar yen, well, it's broken down on the hourlies and dailies. It is moving downside, but it is a little bit stalling. To me, it's still a sell. And then you have a look at the rest of the major pairs here. As I said, we've got we're waiting to hit these pairs. They've got technical levels. The direction at this point is not exactly clear, but that's where I'm thinking the fundamentals will come into play. So keep a very close eye on these, especially the Aussie Kiwi. I think Euro and Sterling also are looking particularly attractive to me. And then you come back down here. Now we can start to piece together. The markets have settled down a bit. We're starting to look at the main bits of data, and we've got a bit out today, right? This hopefully I'll get this video out before the NBNZ business outlook numbers. You'd expect this number to fall off the cliff. We'll have a look at that, see how that goes. And then also manufacturing in China. Now, this has got to be like at all-time lows, you'd expect. That's in an hour 16. And then we come through the European session. We've got some very interesting numbers here. German unemployment. The German economy is very, very consistent. So if this is a big change in the German unemployment, well, then that's tells you what's going to happen in Europe. And we've also got the CPI flash estimate. You know what? That's our main number. But I'd say in this environment, probably doesn't matter because no one's really focusing on that. And then you come back down here, Canadian GDP. Well, it's probably out the window as well. Besides unemployment figures, consumer confidence numbers, all the confidence sentiment numbers, I think are going to come into play. So make sure you have a look at that consumer confidence there. Once again, these numbers are data that's already been in the market. So we've had all this stimulus to cover these things. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do actually impact at all. But as I said, just especially with the Kiwi, with this Kiwi data coming out, I should have had that as yes as a driver. We've got some levels here to work with, so make sure you keep a close eye on that. And if we do start to see the fundamentals impact, well, that's great for the trading for the rest of the week. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for now. As I said, you just got to wait for the numbers to drop, see how the currencies react, and we'll go from there. All right, have a good one. Cheerio.